This is the 2026 Hyundai Palisade SEL, a game-changing mid-size SUV. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I borrowed this Palisade from my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. One thing that really impresses me here is the overall design. From bumper to bumper, the side view, all of it. It doesn't look like anything else you're going to find out there. So if you're in the mid-size SUV three-row segment, this is definitely something to consider if you want something that is not going to get lost among all of the other three-row SUVs in the parking lot where you may be parking. And we'll find full LED lighting here on the front end. Now here on this particular trim level, the only thing missing will be fog lights. But you will have your LED headlights and your LED daytime running lights, the very large turn signal indicators that are matched up with the LED headlights. That flickering effect you see is not really happening, only through the lens of my camera. And you'll find the large grille, but I think it fits the proportions of this SUV, the Hyundai logo. The shut line, one thing that I think is a little bit different here, or should be different, the shut line should be down here. And why is that? And I know this is going to be very meaningless for a lot of people, but if you were to open the hood to work on it, if you're a technician, well, you have to lean over quite a bit in there to get to the engine. You almost have to stand on a ladder or a stool, something like that. Somebody did tell me in my previous Palisade video that it's no longer a mid-sized SUV. Well, whether it really is in size or not is up to people to decide. But if you go by the dimensions, it's not much larger than the previous generation from 25 and before. If I park it next to a full-size SUV, you would see the differences. Now this model is front-wheel drive with 18-inch wheels. It is available with H-Track all-wheel drive and with our side view mirrors. One thing is missing here. They are not power folding, they're manually folding, but you have everything else, including a unique design. Again, I like what Hyundai has done here because it doesn't look like anything else out there on the market, but it's not so much that it's too much. We're gonna have the turn signal indicators built in the front and the rear area. They're gonna be heated, power adjustable, and you will have blind spot monitoring built in right here. And for those of you who are not fans of the piano or gloss black finish, notice you don't see any here. You will have a matte black and a brushed aluminum finish, however, including what we have with the roof rails up there. Nice large windows. This Palisade is very easy to see out of. A little bit more of that brushed aluminum look back here, quite a bit actually, but I don't think it's too much. And with the taillights, again, LED, a little bit of a different look, however, in the fact that the turn signal indicators are independent of the main portion of the taillights themselves. We'll have our Palisade logo back here. The rear roof spoiler, you've got your gloss black shark fin antenna, so there is a little bit of gloss black here. And you'll notice that we don't have the exposed rear window wiper. That is neatly tucked away within the rear roof spoiler area. If you want, there is an available hybrid powertrain for the Palisade, but in this case, for those of you that just want the naturally aspirated V6, this is it. 3.5 liters, 290 horsepower, and 269 pounds-feet of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. How about your MPGs? Tell me if you think these are good numbers or not. 19 city, 25 highway, 21 combined, and 4.8 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. If you're curious to know, your gas tank size is going to come in at 19 gallons. With front-wheel drive, you should be able to drive about 357 miles in the city on a full tank of gas. And with that same full tank of gas out on the highway, you're looking at an approximate 488 miles. Keep in mind, those are approximate numbers. Here is the remote for the Palisade. Lock, unlock, remote start, and your panic button right there. You can see what we have on the rear, which is nothing ultimately. That sticker can come off. On the side, you do have the button for your power tailgate, where you can hold that down and open the power tailgate. And as that's happening, I'm going to tell you that if you go front-wheel drive with this new Palisade, you can tow 3,500 pounds. If you go all-wheel drive, you can tow up to 5,000 pounds. There is a spare tire which is located underneath the rear of the Palisade. There are the tools to change that tire and a little bit of storage space right here. The rear seats recline, as you can see, and to maximize cargo space, there's a couple of different things we're going to do here. Number one, see if I can do this one-handed. Here we go, just like that. Now let's try this other side over here and see if I can do that one time. Something that I like is what you see right here is that you can get the seat belt out of the way. That little clip right there will help with that. We're going to have that on both sides, very convenient. And to lower the middle seats, you have the buttons right up here. So I'm going to hold those buttons down. We just hold that down, hold down the other button, which is going to be on the bottom. The top is for the left side, the bottom is for the right. Depending on how you configure things back here, we're looking at 19.1 to 46.3, all the way up to 86.7 cubic feet worth of cargo space. And as far as connectivity goes, over here on the left-hand side is one of the 12-volt power outlets located here in the interior. Your rear seat passengers will find the nice large armrest with the cup holder built into the front area right here, a door bin, and the privacy shades on each door that can be moved in or out of place. And we have the seats that are very adjustable here. Another common question I receive has to do with whether you can recline the seats or not. Obviously, the third row and the second row do recline. And I have the second row seat over there on the driver's side moved all the way up. Probably an unrealistic position, but just so you can see what is there. And there are a couple of different ways that we can bring this seat up and out of the way. The button there and the button on the side that I just used to gain access to the third row. And here in the third row, depending on where the seats are, it can be very tight or there can be increased space. It just depends. And we have the rear air conditioning vents right here in the roof line. I like that. That's easier to keep the passengers comfortable because it's closer. And then we have a USB port and a couple of cup holders right here. And yes, you do have the same thing on both sides. And just like we saw in the rear area, you also have the little clip right here for getting the seat belt out of the way when you fold the seats down, or to maybe make it a little bit easier for people to get in and out if that happens to get in the way. To get back out, it's very easy. Just push that button right there and might have to move the seat up just a little bit. In this particular case, we're only going to have the front sunroof. It does slide open and tilt open, and you have the manual shade that can be put in place when so desired. We do not have the rear sunroof in this case, as we did with the calligraphy version we looked at recently. You do have your controls here for your third zone of climate control, fan speed and temperature, the roof-mounted air conditioning vents. We'll find rear seat pockets on the back of each seat, and then our USB ports, nothing new for the Palisade, right here in the seat backs. And then we'll have the handy dandy storage drawer right here. Plenty of space for storing small items. That's one thing you will find quite a bit of here within the interior of the Palisade. And I will fold down the armrest so you can see that it is adjustable. As you can see, you just raise that a little bit depending on what you need. As far as your passengers go, I do wish those were a little bit longer than they are, but that's what we have. If you're wondering about the rear windows on these rear doors, the windows do go down all the way. They don't stop down in this area. The sticker price on this particular model, $45,530. Let's see what else you get for that price. Larger armrests and door bins for the driver and the passenger doors here in the front seat area. You will find that the driver and passenger seats are both power adjustable and have lumbar support. We will have our upper console right here. You can see the controls that you have as far as that goes. No sunglass holder. Kind of surprised at that, but that is the situation. There is no sunglass holder within the interior here, but plenty of room to store things like that if you wanted to. There's a ton of room right here with the pass-through. You have a 12-volt power outlet and a little bit of storage above that, as you can see. Over here on the driver's side door, we're going to have our controls for our side view mirrors, lock and unlock buttons, controls for our front and rear windows. The front windows are going to be one touch down, one touch up, and then you'll have to hold the buttons down to lower and raise the rear windows on those back doors. And right here, when that button is illuminated, the windows and door locks, child safety locks, are activated, so they won't be able to roll the windows down or up back there. and they won't be able to open the doors from the inside. So if you're looking for how to do that, that's where it is. Pretty easy to figure out. You can see some of your controls right here. I think you know what everything is right there. This lever allows for adjusting the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And here are your different steering wheel mounted controls, as well as the shifter paddles if you're feeling really sporty, if you want to make your way through that 8-speed automatic transmission with the shifter paddles. Here's your 12.3-inch driver's display. And if you say, you know what, I don't like the way that looks, what are my options? You can come right here to your drive mode selector, and you can change that. It defaults to normal. You have eco, you also have sport, and you have my drive. The only downside here, in my opinion, is that when you change the driving mode to say sport or eco, when you turn the ignition off and back on, it's going to default back to normal, and you'll have to go back into one of these other optional modes if it's what you want to use. I would like to see that change. Tell me what you think in the comments section about that. Here is the window wiper control for your front and rear window wipers, and over here everything for managing your exterior lighting. And something else that might be of interest is the fact that we have auto hold right here. That way you can take advantage of what's often called brake hold mode. You come to a complete stop when that's activated, and the brakes do not disengage until you push the gas pedal again. Now, something that I think is very interesting here and worth spending a little time on is the shifter. To go into drive, we go forward just like that. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Or we go into reverse by twisting it backwards. You'll go back into park by pushing that button. But the thing that's interesting here is that you have the button to start and turn the engine back off right here on the shifter itself. I don't know about that. What do you think? I think it should still be in this area. Tell me what your thoughts are where that is concerned. And we'll have a second 12.3-inch screen, the center screen, which is going to be right here. Very easy. It is angled just a little bit towards the driver. I like that. More driver focus. You can see that you have your built-in navigation. You can go through quite a few different features and functions here depending on what you need to do. And if you want to, you can go into setup right here, or you can push the button down here, and that will bring up all of your different icons. Depending on what you need to do, what you need to know about, it's all going to be here. As far as that goes, you can go into vehicle. You can see digital keys and lights and all that good stuff. It's all going to be here. We can go back right there. And you can get to everything here with the one-touch buttons above the air conditioning controls too. That makes things nice and easy. When you go into reverse, you have your rear view camera. Now, there are a couple of different views here, but all we have is the rear view. We don't have any other cameras on this model. So if you're curious about that, there is the answer to that question. We have our control for the radio, the volume, turning that on and off, going through your stations, all of that. Here's our dual zone climate control. I mentioned earlier, only heated seats. We don't need that today, that's for sure. Here are your USB options, and here is your wireless charging pad. We're going to have our cup holders and the center console. Quite a bit of space within that area. Okay, here we go on the test drive with this all-new Palisade, and it does have a nice, comfortable ride quality. I apologize for any noise that you hear in the back area. Some of the floor mats and different things in their packaging are back there, so you're likely to hear that sliding around a little bit. Very comfortable. The seats themselves are comfortable, plenty of room, and there's a lot of adjustability here with the steering wheel and the driver's seat, so whoever is driving should be able to set things up where they're nice and comfortable, easy to see out of. Like I mentioned earlier, that's one big advantage of the nice large windows. Now, like I said earlier in the video, I had somebody who said they think this is now a full-size SUV. It is not. That is not how Hyundai classifies it. Not quite that big. I don't think it's near large enough to say that. But one good thing about it, being a midsize SUV, it's still very maneuverable, easy to get around, available in either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and you have a decent turning radius with it as far as the midsize SUV segment goes, and that's good. A lot of versatility here, not only for hauling people, but hauling cargo and just getting around in general. And the 3.5-liter V6 seems to do very well as far as getting down the road. The technology is easy to learn and use, which is nothing new as far as Hyundai goes. I've never been in any Hyundai model in the last few years that had difficult to learn and use technology. So I like that. One thing that is interesting here, if you're looking for your owner's manual, is that it is in the center screen. I didn't spend time on that earlier, but in case you're wondering about that, that is where it's located. But overall, I think it's a very nice SUV. Plenty of room, nice materials, things that seem like they're going to hold up. The one thing that I think is missing here, in my personal opinion, when you look at the door panels on these front doors, it just seems like there's too much space there and not really much going on where that's concerned. Maybe some trim is needed. Not sure what we're doing here as far as people wanting to slow down, but we'll go ahead and go around somebody. That's the nice thing about having a little bit of acceleration available. We can get around slower moving vehicles. But overall, I really think Hyundai did a very nice job with this redesign. I'm curious to receive feedback from those of you who are potential buyers as to what you were hoping for that's not here, or maybe if you think it's just right. And there it is, the 2026 Hyundai Palisade SEL Convenience. Tell me what you think down in the comments section. Definitely what I would consider a game-changing midsize SUV. A lot of great features, but it's not over the top as far as the changes go. The exterior looks great, but I'm curious to know, what is not here that you were hoping for? I'm curious to know. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai for loaning me this Palisade for the day so I could tell you all about it, and a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you would, please share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.